Hi, I'm Cheryl Livingston, and I'm here with Laura Hayes, my good friend and coworker, and we want to give you an introduction to what our AAC Innovation Podcast is all about. We definitely want you to learn. We definitely want you to let us know some of your secrets and some of your tricks, because we realize people are at different places. I feel like sometimes, well, why would I say that? Because they already know it. But I'm finding out more and more that I shouldn't assume that people know things, because it depends on what your experience has been and who you've talked to and what you've had access to is kind of where you're at. So Laura and I want to spend time today definitely talking about virtual therapy, the stuff that everybody's been doing and still doing, and I think we'll continue to do in some degree, in the fact that even when we're all back in person, these are skill sets that you definitely can benefit from. So today we're going to talk more about that.
Yeah. And, as I was just telling someone the other day, I've in this quite a few years now, and I still feel like every day I learn something new. I was listening to someone the other day, and she said, we're 6 months in, and I didn't realize this very simple thing about Zoom. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that on day one, but I didn't know something else that they talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, we're constantly learning, and we want to, give tons and tons of resources for people, just assuming that you may not know one of the tidbits that we're talking about. So we're
And
definitely
Zoom's been updated. They've got new features that if you haven't done an update, you don't know that you can do images or what are they called, the little faces. You can do the bunny ears,
emojis. Yeah.
emoji. Well,
Yeah.
or even like they've had them on Instagram and stuff, or you can. So it's fun. It's definitely more fun.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's kind of like the real world tagline. It's like, you think you know, but you have no idea. It's about to get real.
Doesn't matter how old you are or how long you've been doing this.
That's right. It's going to get real on Zoom. It's going to get real in the real world of SSD. So yeah, this week we're going to continue our conversation about teletherapy tips, and we will have a new innovative idea for you. So sit back, enjoy, and here is part 2 of AAC Innovations Teletherapy Tips with Cheryl and Laura. Cheryl, you love lesson picks. That is your baby, right?
Yeah, if you ever have been to Lesson Picks, you need to go back now, because the fact that they have increased everything they could possibly do to that site. It is a subscription, and it isn't something that we have approval or okay to share. So you're kind of on your own, but it's like $36. So do a bake sale, raise some money. But anyway, it is so worth it. Everything under the sun as far as materials go that you can create, and now they've got a virtual component to it, so you can be doing Google Slides and you can incorporate your images, your games, your spinners, your dice, all kinds of things into that. So it is so nice, and if I were the king of the world, you would all have it, but haven't gotten that yet. So check it out. See what
kind of users would benefit from that subscription, right? So what kind of symbol supports does it have on it?
It has its own. They have an artist that draws, so they're very, just generic, and they're also expanding into letting you change colors of backgrounds of faces, skin tones and stuff. So that's really cool. But they definitely, have tons and tons, huge amount. But they also have the Unity symbols. So they have an agreement with Prinky Romick to provide all the Unity icons that are, or symbols that are used both in the Unity and the LAMP programs. So that's nice.
So anybody that has an accent, anybody that has LAMP for Life, that is going to be a huge tool for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's easy. It's easy to work with.
Which we like. We like easy.
Yeah. Old brain doesn't like hard.
Easy button.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I need the easy button. Okay, so that we love that resource. We talked a little bit about boom cards. We talked about the resources we've been creating on our Google site. What other resources have you been kind of steering staff towards during this time?
I definitely, as far as Facebook goes, I have to say I'm a little bit of a junkie, but not for so much personal stuff. I love to see, baby pictures and announcements and stuff, but not politics. But I definitely have joined tons and tons of groups. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. The AAC coach has been wonderful about helping us as speech pathologists help our teams. So we've got teachers, we've got pairs, we've got other related services providers, we've got parents that just need a better understanding of what's going on. And she has done a great job with graphics and explanation. So I encourage you to like her site. And there's all kinds of, everything under the sun as far as companies go. They have sites that you can follow. And then from there, it'll link you to, some other groups that are providing input. I definitely have found a lot of stuff there. Pinterest is another one too. Just go to Pinterest and search something and it comes up with all kinds of cool things. So I have to say I'm on the computer a lot, or my phone.
We all right now.
Yeah. And then another thing to keep in mind is the Practical AAC, which is a website. I guess they kind of call themselves a blog. I don't know. It's more sophisticated than a blog, but
she curates a lot.
Yes,
she curates a lot of resources for a wide variety, and it's easy because it's any topic you have is searchable, and it pulls everything they've ever.
And it's written to be understood. It's not written like in a journal article. And in fact, Laura has been on Practical AAC. So I'm very proud of her.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a freebie, just go Google it.
Free is the name of the game. One of the, I'm all about free. I love telling people about free resources, which is why a lot of the stuff I've been creating or I've been linking to or Google Slides, things that you can easily create for free. When I go on even Boom Cards, I don't tend to spend money. Like Teachers Pay Teachers, I don't go there to spend money. I just find what's already been created that people have generously donated. Mm-hmm. And then like you mentioned, those Facebook groups will often highlight, hey, this is free for a short time. Feel free to pick it up. So I've been doing a lot of that. But then I think one of the things that if you're not already tapping into, then you should be, is those free editing softwares, right? So the majority of the companies have a free editing software that go with their companion app or with their device. So if you don't already have New Voice, which is the Unity and LAMP software, if you don't already have Chat Editor. which is for the Saltillo software or WordPower software, or Touch Chat if you're using the app. Those are huge resources. For Tobii Dynavox users, we have Snap Core First, and that is a free resource. Now, the one caveat is you have to have a PC. If you did, you can have the free editing software, which is huge because that's how we can model during our sessions. You can take screenshots and you can use Annotate on certain pages. So you can circle words that you're wanting to target or you're wanting the family to target if you want the kid to practice. It's also really great for asynchronous versus synchronous learning. Like we throw that out now. That's the new buzzwords for since COVID started.
Actually, those are old buzzwords.
See? Youngest SLP, oldest SLP?
Yeah, oldest SLP used those when she was working back. I was doing online teaching for PRC 100 years ago, and we did talk about synchronous and asynchronous, but they have made a resurgence, I'll give you that.
Well, what did they used to talk about with asynchronous versus synchronous?
Oh, it was the same thing. I did live classes. I would schedule, and they still are, but way back in the old days, I did live trainings, just kind of like this, except you couldn't see me. It was great. I did it in my pajamas. Nobody knew. But it was audio, type of thing. But I showed my slides. I had slides. The other thing is, we need to mention, I would be absolutely lost, guys, without my snippet tool. Anything out there, basically, can be captured, snipped. And so you've got the image, you copy the image, and then you can put it wherever. So I've made huge amounts of therapy tools with that.
And snippet is free within your PC. It's called the snipping tool.
Yeah, it's part of this down, setup. Yeah. But
Right.
anyway, take advantage of that. That's wonderful.
Right. And then also, if you have access to a screen recording piece of software, like we use Screencastify, and you can use that to create these asynchronous videos. So for my type A SLPs, I always call myself a laid back type A. Like some things I'm really type A about, and some things I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. So
I'm a type C.
Cheryl's a type C, so she's not going to be making these. She already said she's fly by the seat of her pants.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are the type A and you want to have things set ahead of time, then asynchronous videos is the way to go. You can put on there how to model a certain word on your editing software. You can record yourself talking about something, talking about what to do, giving parents feedback of if you wanted to do a hand washing routine, or how to model during dinner time, how to model during a book reading. Those can all be created ahead of time. And then you can either embed that video in your Google Slide, or you can just have the file ready when you're doing your teletherapy sessions, so that it saves you a little bit of work, saves you a little bit of breath, and you can go get a different item that you want to do following that video that might correspond, and be a cool activity. So if you like prepping ahead of time and you don't like thinking on your feet if things aren't going well, those are good options.
Good to have them handy.
Yeah. What else, Cheryl? How would you organize a teletherapy session? What do you think you would do?
I definitely like the idea of having a set routine. I think our kids definitely benefit from knowing what to expect. So start with, I was watching a webinar last night with Kate Ahern, and she says she always starts with a like a hello song. And she said, people kind of think, well, I don't know, but she has worked very closely, she said in the past, with music therapists. And she mentioned how that, it brings people together. It makes everybody feel appreciated and welcome, but it's a routine. So the kids, but she was cute. She said she lets them pick how she's going to do it. I guess it's kind of like fast or slow or different voices or whatever, and then maybe add like something that they like. So maybe like a roar in there if they're so she's got a whole thing that she goes through that the kids have a part of, but there is a routine. She has a hello song, and then she has a goodbye song at the end. So in between, then I think we should have at least something that's predictable, that our kids can have comfort in knowing what's coming up. I like the idea that there's conversation possibly in there. I want the kids to have a chance to talk to you. So even if it's you give them a topic or you give them something interesting to talk about, what can they bring up versus you just being all the source of the language. So I like the idea that it's a flow from chat to work to some kind of reinforcer that they enjoy, back to chat, and then maybe.
Well, right. That goes back to Snug too. Like, we want spontaneous novel utterance generation. We know that users of AAC tend to be responders, and that, when we reinforce that in our sessions, that makes it so tricky for them to understand that they can initiate whenever they want and be understood and heard. We have these, it's so tricky at schools, right? Because we have these social protocols that we want, like don't respond unless you're asked a question, but then yet we want them to say things on their own.
Yeah, I have always said school is one of the worst places to work on communication.
It's so hard, right?
I mean, our typical kids, our gen ed kids, don't speak unless spoken to. That's what we teach them. And some kids, like mine, got in trouble for talking too much. But our kids that need all that help, that they take that as being like law, and sometimes they're stuck because they're waiting for you.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk all day about prompt dependency too. That will be in a whole nother session, I'm sure. But we want that. So finding something that, I call it the kids Oreo, right? Like, I could eat a million Oreos. What is their Oreo that they want to talk about, that they're motivated by? And I've done whole sessions where I've talked about Oreos, like not just the edible kinds. Like, I've done stuffed animal Oreos. We've thrown the Oreo. Like we pretended to eat the Oreo. We've colored Oreos. Like you can do a lot. I'm with you. I like the schedule idea. When I was at the hospital, I always used to do the same 4 things, but those 4 things would change. So I always started off with a movement activity, and then I would do a literacy activity, and then I would do some sort of craft or hands-on activity, and then we would always do a goodbye musical activity. And I was always known as the singing therapist. So I love getting
you have a dual major, music therapy and
I know we have somebody, Rachel C at SSD has that. She is phenomenal. And we love our music therapists. We will have them on for sure because they are a huge asset to tapping in. We know, music is a whole brain activity. Language is just left brain activity.
Like you said, that movement then as a part of music is wonderful because the kids need that movement. And that's definitely, Kate was saying last night too, Kate Ahern, was that, she's like, well, if the kids are looking restless, we dance. If, they look frustrated, we dance. If the support person's on their phone too much, we dance.
Oh my God, I love it. So Kate's doing she's doing a presentation. You want to talk a little bit about that? Is that still going on that people can tap into?
And that's what I was kind of like, how quickly this turns around. It's AAC after work. So it's a free webinar and there's a session every night. And so you register, but then my understanding is if you register, then you have access to the recorded videos. Everything's being recorded for a year. So how quickly can we get the word out, Laura, that everybody needs to go register?
Well,
or figure out how we can share
if we can edit this bad boy and we can get out by Friday, then if registration hasn't closed, I don't know.
And that's
it's offered every year. So even if you don't have a chance to register this year, and I think that you can you can't, I don't think they offer ASHA CEUs in the moment, but I think you can send off for ASHA CEUs, but you can at least use it towards your non-ASHA
definitely
hours.
That, yeah.
So
I wasn't too worried about doing that.
It's a huge resource. I mean, they had some
this
fantastic,
phenomenal. Yes.
And now too, just the fact that everyone's used to either presenting or looking at things on online platforms, I think that you're getting your bigger speakers. And so if you can't get out to some of these big AAC conferences, this is your cup of tea. This is your boat.
And definitely everything's being recorded. So hopefully we can find, you can Google something later or search it on YouTube and you'll find it.
Agreed. Yeah. AAC in the cloud is another one. We have a few different sessions on our Google site that you can go back to. Saltillo has some great resources there. We just have tons and tons of resources. So check them out, in all your free time after you've learned everything and done everything.
Can we consider, we are your decompression. We're not meant to make you stressed out. We're hoping to make you, so we want you to look to us as, I just need a few minutes to myself. I'm going to go listen to Laura and Cheryl.
Yes, that's the goal, right? If nothing else, like comedic relief. You'll hear my dog barking in the background or bring Wesley on and
yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so another thing that we can do and use as a tool when we are doing teletherapy is to use Annotate to our advantage to try to highlight words as we're targeting them. So what you will do is while you're in your Zoom meeting, you will go to share your screen. You can share your screen at the bottom middle. And then you can do it a couple different ways. You can go into just your editing software or your iPad if you're using that for your modeling. Or again, as I've mentioned in another video, you can go to Advanced and you can share a portion of the screen, and then you can have your activity on one side of the screen and your modeling, editing software, language software on the other side of the screen. So for the purposes of this demo, I am just going to show you using the editing software. Once you've shared your screen, you'll want to go up to this little button here at the top that says Annotate, and you will see all these wonderful cool drawing features that you can use to your advantage. You can also do this if you wanted to kind of pre-max some of the work and or send it to the family to prepare for the session. You can create, I'll show you how to create these and save these little lists to highlight specific words. But if you're in the middle of a session, what you'll do is you can use this draw feature. I do like to go under format and make the line width the widest one possible to show just the differentiation between and really bring contrast to that target word. So then you will go over to draw, and let's say we would like to target go for this session. You can do a box or you can do a circle. I particularly like the circle, just a little bit easier since these are already squares. And I want to target go. We're going to target go. Go. Again, you can do a box if you wanted to. And also target I go. I go. If you wanted to have some practice words to take home, you could star or heart those. So here's the words we worked on last week: help and stop. Those were our words that we know or that we worked on. You can change the color up if you want to. I personally like red because it brings contrast to it. And you can add text if you wanted to. Change the shape to diamonds. You can do free text. I'm going to just circle. Oops, I didn't really want to circle that one. I can either undo right here at the top, or I could clear my drawings, or I could use my eraser. Spotlight's kind of a cool feature. It just highlights the cursor so that you can kind of bring attention to it as you're going. And then let's say I made a mistake again, I can just clear all my drawings back. The other thing that I really, really like about this is that I can save these if I want to send target words, or if I want to use it for another student, if I'm working on core word of the week, for example. So if my core word of the week was go, I could send this list out, and let's say we're doing a couple core words, so we're going to do go, not, and stop. Right, so these are my 3 words that we're working on this week, and now I want to save this so that I can save it as homework, save it for next week, save it for another student. I'm going to go up to save, and it just screen saves it, and it will populate it in your Zoom folder so you have it for later. You can also go in and see that folder if I hit share, show in folder. So now you can see I've got a couple different screenshots there. Then when I'm done, I can simply go to stop sharing at the top of my screen and go from there. While you are in Annotate, it does not link the screens, so I would have to stop going to Annotate, and then you can see that my screen is active again. So you do have to be on the page you want to target if you want to highlight target words. But if I went into personal, you can see that these circles still exist. So I would need to go back to clear those drawings before going on to a different page to target different words. That might be helpful if you were working on core words for one activity, but then you really wanted to work on quick fires, or you wanted to work on some social greetings. Again, I can go back up to my screen sharing bar, Annotate. Now I'm on this page. I definitely want to clear, because now instead of working on those core words, we are going to be working on other target words like yes and no, or we might be commenting good and bad, and we may actually want to work on some greetings, so I might want to go to that page next and work on that. But again, you can use your Annotate or your Annotate within Zoom to target these pages, and you can save the pages as you go for future use. If you have specific questions or for other platforms, reach out to your facilitator and we can walk you through that. Thanks.
Okay, so today on AAC Innovations, we just want to share with you an innovative tool for teletherapy, since the discussion that we are talking about is teletherapy. And we very early on discovered this fantastic resource from PlaySpark Toys. If you go to playsparktoys.com, it's PlaySparktoys.com, you will find many, many, many green screen resources. And I just wanted to demonstrate one of them today so you can see how cool it can be when you use these with your students. They are engaging, interactive, magical, and so that can really bring up topics of language and keep kids motivated and interested in your virtual sessions. So again, the resource is PlaySpark Toys. You can actually purchase kits on the website, but you can also create your own green screen and use some of the free backgrounds that the owners there have graciously provided. And so I'm going to show you quickly how to set that up using your Zoom so that you can have your green screen readily available. If you're doing other things in your session, you can still share your screen via Zoom. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull up under your video settings. You're going to go to choose virtual background. You will previously, before you go to the setting, you're going to download, you're going to purchase the free backgrounds, and then you're going to have them on your computer. You will then upload those images to your Zoom background. So I did that before I started this video. So now when I go to choose virtual background, it gives me the option to choose my background. Again, I have some other ones in here like the Tiger King. I also have a waterfall, like pretending I'm in Fiji in these crazy, crazy times. And then the last is one of the backgrounds from PlaySpark Toys, which is a farm. And again, who doesn't love talking about farm animals and life on the farm, simpler times? So I'm going to just show you quickly a few of the resources that they sent in one of their kits. So this is the free background that you can download. Then you can see that I had put a green felt board that they provide in their kits as my green screen. You can also use green cardboard, green blankets. Anything that is green is going to give you the best resolution. Once I have that, I'm going to go back to my Zoom and my Zoom camera, and I can kind of play with my board. I can talk about the barn that's in here. I can have animals come out of the barn. So if I put my animals in this little green pouch that they give you, and I have it set up, they can pop out of the barn. Here comes my little duck. I can talk about my duck. What sounds does a duck make? What color is my duck? Oh my gosh, the duck is going back in. We're gonna lose him. Oh, he's gone. He went back into the barn. And what's gonna pop out? Let's see. Let's listen. Ruff, 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 ruff. You can play audio here if you want. Oh, here he comes. It's the dog. If you don't want to hold the animals, you can also use, they provide on their kits, they also provide green sticks. So now I'm just holding the green stick below the line of the virtual screen, and my dog can move on his own. My dog can go up, he can jump on top of the barn, he can come down, he can jump on my head. Oh my gosh, silly, silly dog. He can do all those things. He can roll over, he can climb up, 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 up. If you're talking about actions, go down, 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 down. He can go upside down if you really want him to. Those are all of the things. They have kits for food, they have kits for body parts, they have clothing, you name it, they have it. She's adding all the time. It is a fantastic resource to get kids motivated and just engaged in the sessions. So that is our AAC innovative tip for this week. As always, this is Laura Hayes for AAC Innovations. If you have questions, reach out. Hayes, Hayes, at ssdmo.org. Thanks so much for listening. Okay, guys, so we hope that you enjoyed this week's tips and resources and the AAC innovation idea that we gave you. We hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and we will talk to you soon. This is Laura Hayes
And Cheryl Livingston.
signing off for AAC Innovations. See you next time.
Bye.